By the end of the lesson, I should be able to write rules for patterns. Some important vocabulary. The first one is inductive reasoning, making conclusions based on patterns you observe. Conjecture is a conclusion you reach based on a pattern you observe. And a counterexample is an example that proves a statement is false. Use inductive reasoning. Make a conjecture about the next figure in the pattern, then draw the figure. So we're going to write an observation and a conjecture for this pattern. So our observation is going to read something like this. The shaded triangle is rotating clockwise around the square. So that's what's happening. Our conjecture is what we think is going to happen. So the next figure will have a shaded triangle in the bottom right corner. So there's our observation and our conjecture. Now we're going to draw the last one. We have it drawn on the far right. I'm just going to shade in with my red pen where it should be, where we said that it would end up in the next part of the pattern. Writing rules for patterns. We're going to write a rule to each number pattern. So the first pattern is 30, 25, 20, 15, and we have our pattern continuing. So we're going to say what we start with. So we start with 30 and subtract 5 every time. Our second pattern is 2, negative 2, 2, negative 2. So we're going to say that we start with 2 and alternate 2 and its opposite. Right, and our last pattern is 1, 3, 4, 12, and 13. So we say what we start with. We start with 1, and we're going to alternate or go every other, multiplying by 3 and adding 1. So extending a pattern. The first thing we need to do is write a rule for the number pattern. So just like we did on the last page. So what we're going to do is write a rule. So we start with 640, and the next numbers are found by dividing by 2. So we start with 640 and we divide by 2 every time. So we're going to find the next 2 numbers. So we're going to continue our pattern, and we have 80 is where we left off. If I divide by 2, then I'm going to have 40, and if I divide by 2 again, I'm going to have 20. So I left off my pattern with 80, and I continued it to 40 and 20. Last thing we're going to do is predictions and counterexamples. So in the following, we're going to figure out if each conjecture is correct, and if it's incorrect, we have to give a counterexample saying why it's incorrect. So every clover has 4 leaves. We can say that this is an incorrect conjecture, and we can say it's incorrect is because there are some clovers that have 4 leaves. So some clovers have 4 leaves. So the sum of 2 integers is always greater than both of the numbers. This is also incorrect, and we can say that it's incorrect because if we had negative 4 plus negative 7, right? The sum of the two integers is always greater than both of the two numbers. So our answer should be more positive. And in fact, it's going to be more negative. It's actually going to be negative 11. And the last one, a whole number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. And we know this to be correct because of our divisibility rules.